Hello again. I dare say that most viewers are familiar with one of the conventions of modern drama on television, which is that black men are seldom or never shown as being vicious or sexually predatory characters. These roles are reserved for white men, and the black men get to rescue their victims and generally play the good guys. It is a formula as simple as a medieval morality play. The white man is the devil and the black man is the angel, who is thoughtful, sensitive, kind and altruistic. There are no black gangs in the world of television, at least not exclusively black gangs. Any bunch of criminals must always be mixed with white men and black side by side. In domestic dramas, the black man is always kind and considerate towards his partner, while white men are all too often cheating on their wives, their actions being shown as foolish and ill-judged. You will not see a black rapist or child molester in a television drama. Those roles are always given to white men. We're so used to this setup that most of the time we hardly notice it anymore. But it's when it's spilled over into the real world that these fantasies become a little less acceptable. In the description to this video, I give a link to a film produced by the Office of the Mayor of London, which is intended to warn against men harassing women and to encourage men to speak out when they see such behaviour on the part of their acquaintances. In an attempt to be with it, the campaign is called Say Mate to a Mate. Mate is spelt with M and three A's, M-A-A-A-T-E, which I suppose is supposed to be a way in demotic English in which men rebuke each other for sexism or racism by saying mate. There are two brief sketches in the piece of propaganda to which I give a link. The thumbnail to this video shows a scene from one of these little dramas. Each shows small groups of men consisting of various ethnic minorities, mainly black or Asian, but including a white man, who is inevitably a sexist lout given to harassing women or making unacceptable comments about women in sport and so on. It falls to one of the black men in the group to either call him out on his conduct or to shake his head in disgust and indicate by his expression how strongly he disapproves of sexism. It is always the white man, every single time. Of course, in real life, things are a little different, because compared with some ethnicities, white British men are by no means the worst offenders when it comes to misogyny and sexism. One thinks, for instance, of those men whose heritage lies in a Muslim country like Pakistan. And in real life, is it really true that black men are more sensitive and delicate about such matters than the average white man? More research needed, I fancy, into this curious idea. We can do a quick experiment to see which group in London is most likely to be involved in the most serious acts of misogyny against women, that is to say, rape. We know that just over a third of men in London are of white British heritage, so all else being equal, we would expect to see roughly a third of rapes reported in newspapers and on television being carried out by white British men. Try Googling the words London rape and then clicking on images to see what comes up. You will see a regular rogues gallery of awful men who have committed rape. There is one white man shown, a former police officer. But that really is it. Just one white British man. Scroll down, looking at the faces of those convicted in London of the offences, and see what you notice. Hardly any white men at all. Every so often a white face will appear under a heading saying, "Violent sex attacker dragged woman into North London garden in attempted rape," but when you look at the name, it is a man called Raduionot Vilculescu. The Mayor of London's films do not show a white foreigner behaving in hideously sexist ways. They rather show archetypal working-class white British men. This is propaganda. White British men are not really the main problem, at least in London, and the idea that the man most likely to step in and express disapproval of sexist comments will be a black man might not actually be probable at all. This is all part of a wider campaign to demonise white British men and show them to be the most morally vicious group in the capital. This is almost certainly not the case.